Hello, and welcome to another video. Today I have my workstation and my server, as you can see, and what I'm going to be doing with them today is switching the power supplies, because today I'm getting a NVIDIA GTX 1660 Ti, and the power supply that is currently in this desktop, it does have support for the 8-pin power connections on graphics cards. However, I don't have the appropriate cable for that from the power supply to go to the motherboard. So yeah, this power supply actually is a modular one, and then this one is non-modular, which kind of sucks because this is my workstation and you can see it's pretty tidy in there. But I think it's going to be worth it because I don't want to have to wait months for a power cable for my modular power supply to show up at my door. So instead, I'm just going to be swapping the two. I'm sorry if the camera is a little bit low today. It's because I'm going to be working around here, so you guys can see what I'm doing when I talk about the PSUs. But yeah, this server power supply does have a appropriate connection for the extra power for the graphics cards, or for any PCI Express power extension, pretty much. So yeah, I apologize for my allergies. I might be a little sniffly in this video. There will be a lot of time lapsing when I'm disassembling these, so hopefully I don't catch a lot of my sniffling and sneezing. But yeah, I say it is time to get started and swap the two power supplies. So let's do that. Ow. Alrighty, so we got the side panel off. Not sure if you guys can even see my face. Here's the power supply. These are similar wattage ratings. Actually, they're actually the same wattage ratings. They're both I apologize, 750 watts. So there will be no problem when I'm switching the two. They'll be exactly the same wattage rating, the same power consumption, that is. Yeah, this is just, as I said, this is just my server. So this has a 2 terabyte drive here. This is a 2 terabyte Seagate Barracuda. And then this right here, I have not configured the second drive yet, but I believe this is a 1.5 terabyte. And this will be configured with, what is it, RAID 2? RAID 1? It's the RAID that copies, that duplicates one drive into another. It just copies the contents of one drive into another while the contents of one drive are being copied from a computer, basically. I'm sorry if I confuse you. But yeah. So let's just get this PSU out. Hopefully this doesn't take too long. I suspect this video will probably be around 20 minutes or so. No, probably like 5 minutes or so. I mean, I'm guessing this process will take me, uncut 20 minutes, but then the finished product, you guys can tell what the finished product time is. Now, for getting this power supply out, it's super easy because I don't have anything cable managed, because this case isn't very cable management friendly. Now with that case, I spent quite a while on doing the cable management, in terms of power supply cable management, because you can see how everything is like sort of rooted behind, and then it goes around and up the motherboard. So I'm not sure if that'll be an issue later when we're putting this power supply in there, because the cable lengths might vary. So I don't know. Let's just cross our fingers. If it doesn't work, then if the cables don't completely reach perfectly, then what I'll do is I will switch the original modular power supply back into this desktop once I get the appropriate PCI Express cable 8-pin connection, basically. So yeah, I think once we get these drives out, or those drive power cables out, this guy can pretty much just pull free. there we go. We got our first PSU out. You can see just how much cleaner this build looks without the power supply. This is a really light case, like super cheap. I'm not a fan of the design. You know, running your finger across it, you'll easily get a cut. So for now, I guess we can give the rest of the workspace to this desktop. This desktop. So let's just set this guy aside. I don't think we are going to reassemble the reinstall the power supply into that desktop today. Rather, I might do that off camera. So we'll just see how that goes. But I want you guys to be able to see the main attraction. So yeah, you can see how I've done the cable management here. As I said, everything is just routed through and around the back of the case. So I guess where we should start is actually the back panel, since that's where we have all of the cable management. Okay, yes, here we have the you can see how everything is routed. So this is where the connections from the power supply come into the back, and then everything's just routed around. It doesn't look too great back here, but I'm not really that concerned because there's no airflow back here anyways, so it's not going to make a difference if the wires are all messy back here. So I'll just leave it the way it is. Or no, I won't leave it the way it is because I need to disassemble this entire thing. Yeah, right now I'm disconnecting the CPU power cable. You can see that just fell out through the back. Let's see, we'll disconnect the motherboard power. Alrighty, so we've got the CPU power cable as well as the motherboard power cables disconnected. Now we disconnect the hard drive power cable. And then disconnect the optical drive power cable. So now I think we can pretty much pull this baby out, the PSU, also known as the power supply. That if you guys are wondering what PSU means, well, I've been saying PSU the entire video. It's because that's what power supply is, which is an abbreviation for power supply, PSU. I lost the back panel case screws, which it's okay. I'll find them later, hopefully. Alrighty, so hopefully you can see me and the computer pretty well at this point. Let's go ahead and loosen the power supply screws. Alrighty, the power supply is free. So now we should theoretically just be able to pull that out. And yep, here we have it. You can see just like how many cables come out of here. It's not that many, as you can see. Because this is a modular power supply, I'm able to configure it how I want, obviously. I would see this actually does have a 4-pin connection. However, I don't have that that type of connector. So that's why we're taking this guy, which I'm not really a fan of. fan of. And we're going to be installing it right in here. So you know what, we can yeah, there's enough clearance down there where I can have the fan blowing or sucking air. I usually have pretty clean floors. Leave a comment below if you think that's wrong, having the fan sucking air through the carpet. Cause yeah, I've never really understood the instructions when you're installing a power supply, if you should have it sucking air from the floor or having it suck air from inside the case. Because if it's sucking air from inside the case, you're sucking in hot air. So, you want to be able to get fresh air in to be able to cool the PSU components. I'm sorry if you hear my dog in the background. But yeah, there should be enough clearance down here for air to be able to be sucked in and cool the PSU components. So I am not going to worry about that too much. You guys can leave a comment below what you guys' opinions are on PSU cooling. Just leave a comment below about your thoughts or your knowledge, because I'm not the smartest person. Alrighty, let's get that PSU lined up. You know, I was wearing a anti-static wrist strap the entirety of not starting this video. So like I was getting ready for this video and I was wearing a wrist strap, and then I pressed record and I'm like, oh, let me take this off, because then I need to go get something for the video, and then I didn't put it back on. That's me. So if you're doing this yourself, if you are replacing power supplies, I highly recommend that you wear an anti-static wrist strap so that you don't shock your computer, basically. Because as you guys probably would expect, that's a bad thing. A little bit of a bad thing. So don't shock you or your computer. Keep them both safe. And I feel like I have to apologize for everything, because I don't know. But then when I apologize for things, everybody in the who watches my YouTube channel, not everybody, but most people are so polite and just so nice. And they're like, don't worry about it. You're good. You know? And I'm sure some of them are actually getting annoyed of how many times I apologize to the viewers about things I do wrong or things in general. Alrighty, so this the PSU screws are installed. It is in place. Really quickly, I can show you the 4-pin connector. So this is for PCI Express, of course. You know, powering PCI Express cards. And one thing I did have in the past was a PCI Express card that took 2 of these 6-pin connections. So a total of 12 pins, as you guys can tell. But with my lower power consumption card, because that card that I was using a while ago that did use 12 whole pins, it consumed a lot of power. And with this NVIDIA card that I'm getting sometime today in the mail, it consumes a lot of a lower wattage rating. So it only requires 8 pins, and we've got this little adapter here that just clips right here. So yeah, it just clips together like that, and then it makes one complete 8-pin PCI Express power connection. It's kind of cool. I don't know like pinouts or anything of PCI Express power cables, so yeah, I'm not really the person to go to if you want to learn that. And see, the CPU power also uses these 8-pin connections, but I think the pinout is different. So if you were to plug this into a card, obviously you wouldn't have a power cable for your CPU, because you need this for your CPU. But if you were in the type of case, if you had the scenario where you had 2 of these like this, and you accidentally connected the PCI Express into the CPU slot, I don't know if that would be safe, but I also don't know if that would do any damage either. You know, that's why these things are labeled, because if they weren't labeled, then, you know, you just assume it's fine, which there are a lot of power supplies that don't have their cables labeled. So yeah, that's just something to, I guess, keep in mind. Another thing you guys can let other viewers know in the description, or I apologize, in the comment section, you can let them know if it is dangerous to plug a CPU power cable into a graphics card. So let's go ahead and start routing these cables through. So we'll start off by routing the CPU power cable up and through this right here. So first connection is almost in. Alrighty, we have the CPU power plugged in. So that will power the CPU, and then obviously Then we've got the motherboard power cable. So you can see this is a 20 plus 4 pin connection. So here's our 20 pins and then the 4 pins. So some motherboards will only use the 20 pin output. But in this case, we're using the 20 plus 4 pin for that extra voltage. Yeah. Well, that took me a while. Let's get this USB 3.0 connection back on because that guy keeps falling out. So you can see how much extra cabling we have. Now, of course, I haven't plugged in the SATA cables yet, but you know, the SATA cables it's just going to be running one of these cables in. So as you can tell, it's really not making much of a difference. I'm going to be just having this entire thing just sitting like that in the case, the back of the case. Hopefully, we can get it hidden in the back of the case without creating like a bulge on the back of the the case. So let's route our SATA power cables in. Okay, now that we have the power cable plugged in for the SATA, for this one SATA hard drive here, we've got this other power connection here. This is what, I think a 12 volt. But yeah, it's got this connection here, and then it will basically plug into this guy right here. So, you know, this is a female, and then this is a male. This will go into here, and then it'll power my solid state drive right here. I know, it's just floating around in the case. As well as my optical drives. So I have 2 optical drives right here. One is Blu-ray and then one is something else. Yeah, we're going to make it look all fancy and route it around. So yeah, let's do that. Alrighty, well, honestly, I think that this is the best I can get this cable management because there is not much space behind it. There's not much clearance behind the back panel of the case. There's already might be some bulging that I'll need to sort out with the back panel. So I'm just going to leave these cables here for now. I'll tie them up and make them look nice or something. But we do have the 6+2 pin connection right here for my graphics card when it arrives. So that was my goal. So why not? Let's fire this guy up. Let's see if she posts. Just verify that it posts because that would be bad if it didn't. Alrighty guys, it is time for the moment of truth. Time to find out if this bad boy posts. Now this is my main workstation starting today because once again I'm getting a graphics card and it'll finally be powerful enough to handle Premiere Pro editing. So let's go ahead and flip this power supply on. That is a good sign. We do have an LED on the motherboard. And let's hit the power button on the desktop. Okay. My optical drives did power up. I can hear the hard drive spinning, which is a good sign. Yay! We have a post. That's pretty awesome. So let me grab my keyboard. Alrighty, so we are here in Windows. Let's see if she logs in. Yay! We're here in Windows 10. That's pretty awesome. So it is fully working. Let's open up the settings, verify everything's there. Just go to the About This PC page, and let's see. Ryan Workstation, i5 4670K, 3.4 gigahertz, 16 gigabytes of DDR3 RAM, Windows 10 Pro, version 1909. Yep, it is there. So that's pretty amazing. It's really not that amazing. It's just switching to PSU, so I don't really feel that happy. Okay, seriously though, I'm kind of happy that it all turned out, or it all worked out in the first try. So I'm going to go ahead and reassemble the casing of this desktop, and that'll pretty much wrap up our video. So let's go ahead and shut this guy down, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So we'll go ahead and put this monitor elsewhere for now. A little bit of dust buildup. Alrighty, we have that side panel on. Looks pretty nice. Let's flip this guy around, figure out what to do with this. So this obviously might have a little bit of a problem. I think if I hold these here, it'll be fine. So it's going to be a little bit tricky. And no worries, I just didn't want to drag you guys along any further. I'm going to tidy this cable management up a little bit later on. Ow! Why is it lopsided? Anyways, I will reassemble the other power supply into the server, which, you know what, it wasn't really fair originally, because since that server case isn't really designed for good cable management, it wasn't really fair the fact that I threw in a non-modular power supply in there, because there was so much, excess cable that was just visible. And then with this one, I'm able to route it around and, keep it out of sight. And then, this would look a lot better in a case that's not meant for cable management. So I think this is actually a better solution than what I had originally. Maybe I'll buy another modular power supply for this computer, just so I can keep it looking pretty. But I don't know. That's not really, it's not really something I need right now. So, anyways, guys, it has come towards the end of this video now. What do you guys think? I think this build is pretty sweet. I will give you guys an update when I have installed my 1660 Ti graphics card. I'm really excited about that, so I will definitely be letting you guys know. I'll be spamming you guys with videos of the 1660 Ti. No, all jokes aside, I'm excited, and I'm pretty happy with the way that the cable management turned out. It wasn't too bad, so you guys can let me know your opinion in the video comment section. Was it good? Was it bad? Just let me know. Anyways, guys, as I said, it does come towards the end of this video now. Thank you guys very, very much for watching this video. Please be sure to comment, like, and subscribe. And don't forget to check out some of my other videos. That is youtube.com/TechBizmo. Thank you guys for watching, and have yourselves a great day.